Let's see. So for props, if you have 2 blocks, that's awesome. We'll stand on them for psoas swing or something about the size of a step that you could stand on. Or if you have 2 blocks, we'll make it a ramp for oblique toner, a bolster works, or a pile of blankets. You also do not have to have your hips elevated for the oblique exercise. And then something to roll up for our calf stretching. Of course, we can always improvise or change course. We'll get started. We'll start any position to start breathing into, go into a few breath exercises, which you can do lying down. So if you feel like you want to lie down at some point, please do. Let's see, this is how I mute you guys. I just hit spotlight, which might have changed your view. You can change it back to gallery and it won't interrupt anything on my end. When I take class, I like to see everyone and pretend I'm in class. So if you are choosing to sit, take a moment to simply rock out a little bit on your pelvis. Feel sitting bone to sitting bone as balanced as can be. Not all of us have symmetrical hip bones. In fact, a few of us do. And then rock back and forth a few times, feeling for both pubic bone in the front and tailbone in the back rooted. Tailbone tends to roll under. Our car seats are made to cradle our tailbone under. I guess that's safer for us in case of accident. But for chronic stuff, not so great. So here we'll untuck the tail. And once your pelvis is balanced, feel for spine. I like to imagine seaweed rooted underground, under the ocean, and then effortlessly being drawn up, freely mobile, not stiff, but there is an upward lengthening. Invite your breath all the way down to the low ribs. Feel them expand out above your abdomen in 360 degrees. On the exhale, the ribs soften back in. At the end of exhale, you might squeeze a little bit to get the old breath out. Find your intercostals. A few breaths. Natural breath or ujjayi. We'll move into ujjayi soon. It's feeling movement of breath, like movement of water, rhythmic, effortless. And if you're not already breathing in ujjayi, let's turn that on. First round might be in through the nose and out through the mouth with a ha whisper. Like you're fogging up your sunglasses. Take a few rounds to feel for extending the ha. So soft enough that you have control over length. effortful enough that has some sound. Too much sound, it becomes snoring. That's too much. And once you have a feel for that, inhaling nose, exhaling ha, but close your lips before you run out of breath. So you feel the ha continue out the nose, kind of a Darth Vader type sound in your skull helmet. And then if your nose is clear, in and out of nose only with a ha sound. If you like, you can feel for this with your finger in your nose with no ujjayi. Feel your breath coming out your nose, all hot and breathy on your finger. And then turn on your ujjayi and notice how soft the breath is, not as much blowing on the finger. So if you've had issues lately breathing in a mask and it starts to get real hot in there, I found ujjayi retains the energy inside, so you're not blowing hot air into your mask, which you have to then breathe back in and feel. All right, we'll add on to our pranayam, Viloma pranayam. This can be done, of course, again, still lying down if you want to lie down, or change the cross of your legs. Well, breathe in a soft ujjayi in 5 little sips. So you'll take a sip in through your nose and pause, a sip in and pause. We'll do 4 or 5 in, then hold the breath for 5 seconds, 5 slow seconds, and then exhale with ujjayi sound for 5 seconds. So the breath in is the one that's broken up. We'll hold and then breathe out in one smooth breath. If you're lying down, something under the head's not a bad idea to keep the back of the neck long. If you're sitting, tuck your chin down a little bit into a throat lock. All right, let's begin together. Take a sip in through your nose and pause. Sip and pause. Sip and pause. Sip and pause. Hold the breath in. 2, 3, 4. Slow exhale, same length. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sip in, pause. Sip, pause. Sip, pause. Sip, pause. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slow ujjayi exhale. 2, 3, 4. Do that 4 more times on your own. 4 sips in, hold for 4 counts, about the same length as your inhale. And exhale slow 4 counts. Change the number if you please. If you're familiar with Mula Bandha, you can engage your root lock whenever you're holding the breath. Relax it whenever you're breathing in or out. Finish the round you're on and do one more full round. And take a few either natural breaths or ujjayi breaths with ease. If your heart rate feels like it picked up, that is a little bit of an upregulating breath. So recognize there's nothing wrong. That's a natural physiological response. And crawl your way up to sitting. Straighten your legs out if you've been sitting cross-legged. Give your legs a massage or a shake. Knee pile, left leg straight, right knee, if possible, stacked on the left. If you need to stand the right foot on the floor, that's fine. Sit up as high as you like on as many blankets as you like. And if left knee needs support, please put a blanket underneath that so it's not hyperextended. Seated side bend. If the bottom of the right foot's not on the floor, activate the foot, press the pinky side of foot off the floor to get a little lift in your ankle so ankle's not collapsing. Walk left fingertips out to the side 18 inches. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, side bend left. Palm down. Both shoulders drawing down away from the lengthening neck. Relax your head to the left. Ear over shoulder or angled chin down into your collarbones without dropping the head too far forward. No rounding of the upper spine. Plug both sitting bones, tailbone and pubic bone down. Inhale, lengthen both sides of the rib cage up from your pelvis. Neck release. Lower the right hand down to the right palm, 12 inches off the earth. And then feel for the stretch in right side neck, top of shoulder, maybe into the jaw and eye. Run breath through the tension. Exhale, sense unwinding of the tissues. Reach through the right hand to pull you up. Left hand to the right knee, twist to your right. And get breath into the back ribs also. Back of spine lengthens. Exhale, ease the shoulders down. And come back to center. Straighten your right leg out. Cross left over right, or your comfortable approximation. Activate the foot either way. Press down into the floor. Get that seesaw effect so you're lifted out of your seat a little bit, not dumping back. Right fingertips walk out to the side. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, right hand down. Elbow drawing in towards you to help you telescope the rib cage away from the hips. Right ribs lengthening rather than crunching into them. Direct your inhale breath into your open left ribs. Exhale, release your jaw. Lower left palm towards the earth. And feel for just the right sweet stretch through the left side neck, shoulder. One of those lines of tension that feels like it could start to melt given the time, given some sunlight. Reach through the left hand to pull your spine up. Keep the head relaxed. You can use hand to help it up. And then twist to your left, right hand, left knee. Inhale. Exhale, release the twist. come down to your back. Let's go right into oblique toner. So let me show you what I mean by a ramp. If you're using 2 yoga blocks, you can come onto your back like you're setting up for bridge and slide the blocks underneath your sacrum. One block is a little precarious. I would definitely use 2. If you're not using yoga blocks, you might set up a different kind of ramp, maybe a pile of blankets or towels. It doesn't have to be very high, certainly no higher than 7 inches, which is about the size of a yoga block with a blanket on top of it. Couch cushion works just great. So if you're making something that you can't slide underneath your pelvis to come onto it, I recommend putting a hip sideways on it and then easing yourself down onto your side, rolling onto your back. Consciously moving so no parts of your spine are gripping in the transition. And then once you're on your back, feet are off the earth, knees are bent, thighs perpendicular to torso. So the knees will be in a little bit closer. If you put them straight up to the ceiling, you might feel that grip. They're not at 90 degrees because you're tilted. Bring the knees in a little bit closer. Rest your hands around your waist. Get a sense of the rib cage and the hips being in line, ribs not popping open. Breathe the back ribs towards the ground. Relax low belly, and on exhale, hug low abdominals in. Inhale, tip your knees over to the right side, coming off left hip. Tiny movement, you might just come off 1/2 inch. Exhale, pull low belly in, center. Inhale, knees over to the left. Relax low belly. Exhale, pull low belly in, center. We'll go side to side like that. If there's any tweakiness in the low back, hold a cushion or something between your thighs so they move as one unit. Your legs aren't pulling on your pelvis. And I'm recommending the inhale into the twist, the exhale to pull you back to center. Also, if your back hurts at all while you're up on the ramp, small group, unmute yourself. There are ways you can support your low back with an extra towel. If you want to be coached, take advantage of this intimate time. Once you finish the round you're on, go to each side one more time. And put your feet down on the floor one at a time. You can either walk the feet a little wider, rest the knees towards each other, and then simply feel for the contents of the belly, the pelvis sinking back with gravity, ilioso as release. Or if you prefer a more active pose, maybe that feels compressive to low back, then press your feet into the earth, tuck your tail, pressing hips to ceiling in a small bridge, turning on the glutes and the legs, and using their strength to decompress the low back, reaching your tail forward. All right, we'll do one more round of obliques toner. Rest your hips down. Pick your feet up one at a time. This time, option to add arm movement. Feel with your hands for just a moment to line up the ribs and the hips, or get that sense that they are connected. The chest, the ribs aren't ballooning out. Breathe into low back ribs. Then, of course, you can keep your hands there if you want, or interlace your hands. Reach your knuckles up to the ceiling. Inhale, tip your knees over towards the left, coming off right hip. Lower right elbow out to the ground by right shoulder, or out from right shoulder. Exhale, pull belly in, knee center, knuckles back up to sky. Inhale, knees tip right, left elbow comes out from left shoulder onto earth. Exhale, pull low belly in, center. Inhale, knees left, right elbow out, relax low belly. Exhale, engage low belly, center. Inhale, knees right, elbow left. Exhale, hug low abdominal center. Do one more to each side. Continue to feel the breath in the low back ribs, in the sides of the waist and the low belly. These are great places for tension to hide. Use breath and gentle movement to flush it out. When you are complete, once again, lower your feet down to the floor one at a time. If you have two blocks, press into bridge to move your blocks away. Otherwise, roll off your bolster prop and then move it aside so you can come onto your back. Prop free for leg slides. Lying on your back with feet on the floor, sacrum, back of pelvis grounded, low back ribs on the earth, low back soft, natural curve, not pressing. So if you feel low back ribs are nowhere near the ground, then put something underneath your head or even prop up your shoulders and your head, a little ramp of the upper body. So the low back is neutral, the bottom ribs relaxed. Actually, put something under my head. Send your breath into the low back ribs. Spread them open on your yoga mat. Exhale, draw your low abdominals in. Inhale into low back ribs. Slide left heel forward on the mat as smooth as you can. Relax low belly and exhale, hug the low belly in to bring left heel back into sitting bone and plant it down. Inhale, low back ribs, right heel slides out, low belly is soft, filling with breath. Exhale, low belly stays soft but draws in to bring the right heel back. Inhale, low back ribs, left heel out. Release the low abdominals. Exhale, engage low abdominals. Foot back on the floor. Inhale, low back ribs. Right heel slides. Exhale, low belly pulls right foot back in. Option to add arms. Arms down alongside body. Inhale into low back ribs. Left heel slides out. Right arm reaches up overhead, or maybe just up to the ceiling is high enough. Exhale, pull low belly in. Everything comes back to center. Inhale, right heel out. Left arm up to sky or all the way up overhead without thrusting the low ribs out. Exhale, center. Go to each side one or two more times. So you can feel for the spine, the pelvis, the rib cage is fairly steady as you move the arms and legs. Freeing the spine from these long limbs that often pull on it and stress it. If you decide you're complete, then separate your feet, knees together, arms across your chest in constructive rest pose. We'll all meet in constructive rest. If you are already in that shape, then change the cross of your arms. Pelvic tilts. Once again, separate your knees, feet hips width apart, arms down alongside body. Back of sacrum grounded, low back ribs on or headed towards earth. Breathe into low back ribs. Low belly pops out a little bit, arching your low back beyond its natural curve. Exhale, pull low belly in, press the low back into the ground. Inhale, low back ribs, top rim of sacrum, arching up to sky. Exhale, top rim of sacrum, pressing into earth. Continue like that. Whether you breathe to tilt the pelvis forward, or you prefer to breathe in when you're pressing low back flat, doesn't really matter too much, as long as you're consciously breathing and feeling. Now, either continue your pelvic tilts lying on your back, or keep breathing as you crawl your way to all fours, and you'll continue your pelvic tilts in tabletop. And tabletop, neutralize your spine by pressing the earth away, a little lift out of the shoulders, an opening of the upper back. And whether you tilt top rim, sacrum to sky, or floor on the in-breath, really completely up to how it feels to you. Experiment. Be curious. Two more tilts in each direction. And come to neutral spine. If you're on the back, you're doing another round of heel slides. Oh, looks like we all transitioned to tabletop. But if you decide you want to come onto your back, you'll do the heel slides with the arm up again. We'll do something similar here. Neutral table, top rim of sacrum gently tipping towards earth so your low back is soft, not rounded. No tail tucking. Keep that. Inhale to the low back ribs as you slide the left leg back. Exhale, lower left knee back under pelvis. Inhale into the back ribs, right leg back. Exhale, knee onto earth. Let's do the arms separately this first round. Inhale, reach right arm forward. Keep the spine neutral. Exhale, right hand down. Inhale, left arm forward. Exhale, left hand down. Now I'll cue something doing the arm and leg at the same time. If you want to stay on one piece or the other, do. Inhale, left leg back, right arm forward. Back ribs out, low ribs in. Exhale, tabletop. Inhale, low back ribs, right leg back, left arm forward. Exhale, neutral. Take two more sets to each side, or alternate your arm glides and your leg slides. And when you are complete, either rest in child's pose or take a moment to crawl out onto your belly, rest your head on your hands, and send breath into your low back. Hips might wiggle. You don't have to be still. Either press back to all fours for sun gazer, which will be a side body stretch. If you prefer to get off your hands and knees for a moment, lie on your back for banana, which is the one where you walk your feet over to the edge of the mat and maybe cross an ankle, maybe catch a wrist, and take a few breaths on each side. Sun gazer from tabletop. Here we'll go beyond neutral spine by pressing ground away, get a firmness in the chest. Tuck the tail back this time. Top rim of sacrum sky. Right foot back. Cross right behind left. Look over left shoulder in the direction of left foot. Breathe into the right side body. And then optional, keeping your low ribs in. If you want to add a balance element, right arm reaches across. So it's reaching same direction as your foot, creating a half moon shape facing the earth. Torso still flush to the earth. Breathe into the right side ribs. If you lost the breath, keep your hands down. And then exhale back to center, tabletop, or come back to center of mat banana. And then walk your feet over to the other edge of your mat banana. Sun gazer. Left leg back. Tuck your tail towards your heel and then cross it. Option to add the left arm, or simply gaze over right shoulder and feel for the breath expanding the left side body. And come back to center. All right, take the next few breaths to transition your way up to standing. I'll let you turn on your Ujjayi breath and feel through it. So maybe you want some traditional cat's cows. Maybe you want to roll around on your back for a moment. Maybe you're standing up and adjusting your clothing. Still, keep breathing. Let's find your roll for calf stretching. And I'm taking advantage of the fact that I have access to a wall from where I'm broadcasting today to do, I think, simple calf stretching against the wall. If you're not using a wall, a counter, a chair, something to put your hand on for balance. We'll stand with left hip, left hand, about a forearm's length away from whatever you're balancing on. And then put your left foot on the roll. Use your hands to balance your pelvis, right, left, same height, either front of pelvis feeling vertical or feel for the sides of the pelvis horizontal to earth. And then you can decide to keep the right foot behind the left, next to it, or in front of it for a deeper stretch. Bring your pelvis with you. Tailbone and pubic bone both pointing straight to the earth, a sense of your pelvis floating. And then send breath into the lengthening of your left calf muscles. One more breath. And step off your roll and turn around. Right foot on the roll. Feel for balancing pelvis. And I would start with feet side by side just so you can feel whether you want to adjust by stepping the left foot back. So you can feel the length of the right calf muscles, your pelvis pointing straight down, a buoyancy to all of that. And a little goes a long way if you're focusing your breath. Or the more you step the left foot forward, the more traction you'll get in the right calf. More is not necessarily better. If you start to feel this pulling on knee or just at Achilles tendon, then back up. I want you to get the breath into the belly of the calf. Feel for that sense of fibers untangling, losing their grip. Sometimes we put too much pull on tissues. They feel like they're tightening up because they are. Back away from that. All right, step off your roll. So as swing. If you have two blocks, you'll stack them 2 blocks high. The foot that's closer to the wall is going to stand on them. So set that up at least a forearm's distance, about that. Maybe a little further, not closer, away from wall, but also not so far away that you're leaning when you're on your blocks. So I'm going to start with left hip closer to wall, left foot on the blocks. Stack of books works perfect for this if you don't have yoga blocks. I can't quite see from my angle. You guys look good. All right. And start with right arm, right hand across your pelvis. Just feel for right hip, left hip being in the same line. Back them up a little bit so the front of your pelvis is vertical. And you can keep your hand on your pelvis to feel it stay relatively steady as you start to swing the right leg, all loosey-goosey, back and forth, as relaxed as possible. A sense of your leg dangling from the hip socket. And if that feels easy, your pelvis is not swinging, then focus on the backswing. Keep the thigh, knee turned slightly in towards the left side. Breathe. Three, two, one. All right, slowly step off your blocks. We'll go right to the other side. You might feel like that swinging leg is now longer than the other. Awesome. That means something changed. So let's get on the other side and adjust your blocks so you're close enough to the wall that you feel lined up. You're balanced, even though you have the wall to be on. You're not struggling to just stand here. Balance your pelvis. And start with hand on pelvis. You can change it whenever you want, just to start your leg swing and get a sense of the legs swinging from a fairly steady pelvis. Breathe into the low back ribs. Get breath into the back of the lungs. And by the way, psoas does attach to the back bottom rib, the very last one. And low back, so get your breath back there. Just a couple more seconds. 3, 2, 1. All right, step off. Dance your way back to your spot. Sun breath. Tadasana, feet parallel to each other. Ease your hips back towards your heels a bit. Inhale your low back ribs over your sacrum. Soft shoulders. Ramp your chin back so your back of skull is lined up over the sacrum, over the heels. Huge breath into the whole rib cage. Spread it out 360 degrees. Exhale, feel your feet rooted into the earth. Inhale, arms up. Exhale to your heart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale to heart. Achoo. 3 more like that. Inhale. Exhale. Keep going. Cassowary. Let's do hand exercises first. Step your feet a bit wider, or if you'd like to get into your horse stance, wide enough that you can sit down on your horse for a little more oomph in your legs. If at any point you want to get off your horse, just turn your feet back to parallel. All right, open your arms out to the sides, palms open, same direction as your heart. Spread the fingers wide. Take a huge breath in. And then articulating, if possible, 1 finger at a time. Curl in your pinky finger and ring fingers and middle fingers and index fingers, and then rest your thumb right on top. I'll come closer so you can see. So your thumb's on top. Inhale, reach your thumbs out to the sides to widen your collarbones. Exhale, tip the thumbs down to the earth, like you're holding 2 giant jugs of water and starting to pour with control out to the sides. Stretch thumb side of wrist. Again, inhale, spread your hands wide. This time start with a thumb down, and then curl 1 finger at a time over your thumb until your thumb's inside your fist. Turn your fist down. Inhale, punch out, widen through the shoulder blades. Exhale, turn your fist down to the ground, stretching the back of the forearm. And then relax your arms. Come off your horse, turn your toes in. Let's take a forward fold. Inhale, shoulders back. Exhale, fold, either hands to the earth or hands, elbows to thighs, like a catcher stance. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Come on back up to standing. Inhale, half lift if you're fully folded, hands to hips, and work yourself up. Cassowary. Once again, either stand in this wide-legged stance or get back down on your horse. Spread your wings. I'm mixing up my animals a little bit. I guess you could be a bird on a horse. A cassowary is a big bird with big, elegant wings. No, this is kite hawk. That's what this is. That kind of bird, if you know your birds. Soften your elbows down. Spread your fingers. And softness in your feathery fingers, energy. Inhale, start to rotate your hands, your thumbs back, pressing your elbows forward and opening up the fronts of the shoulders, chest. Exhale, reverse that. Rotate hands forward, elbows and shoulder blades rise behind you. Inhale, rotate hands back, elbows press forward, shoulder blades back. Exhale, reverse. Go back and forth like that 3 more times. The breath is what keeps your wings afloat. The movement, as big or small as feels right to you. It should feel lubricating. And then relax your arms. Come off your horse when you're done. Turn your feet back in. Either clasp your hands behind your back, squeeze shoulders, choose to stay upright or forward fold. If clasping hands does not work for you, put your hands on your waist, squeeze your elbows and shoulders back, and squeeze your shoulders that way. Good. If you're forward folded and feel safe coming up in your bind, reach through your knuckles, maybe bend the knees to pull yourself up. And everyone relax. Do pyramid on the wall. First down dog on the wall, or whatever surface you have. So again, a counter or a bed works just great here. If you're on a wall, start standing at the wall with your hands right at shoulder height, then walk your feet back. Lengthen your tail, straight line from your head, and then if you want to walk your hands down, you can. If you're working on a lower surface, you'll walk back. And if your surface is pretty low that you need to bend your knees, then bend your knees. This is a spinal stretch. Breathe into the back ribs and feel for the tractioning of your hips, tail, sacrum being drawn back. Now maybe bend your knees so you're on your feet as you walk forward. Keep your head tucked to relax a little bit, especially if you're walking towards the wall, so you don't bunk the wall on your way up. So walk in and then come up. Pyramid on the wall or on a counter, etc. You'll stand with your foot. I'll use this. Am I on camera? Yeah. Again, start about shoulders width away from where you are, shoulders, arm's length. Step your left foot back with your heel almost behind your right heel, your toes angled out 45 degrees for this hamstring stretch. Come as low as you like or not. Ground the back outer foot. If this pulls a lot on low back, sometimes stepping that back foot out to the side, widening the stance, is very helpful. Pull your belly in. If you're using a wall, start arm's length away and walk down the wall as much as you like, but feel for lengthening your spine, just like that down dog. A sense of equal weight in both feet, even in the shape. So press your feet down, spread your toes, put some energy in the bones of the feet. And come out the way you came in, walk your hands back up, step your left foot forward next to your right, and then step your right foot back. And then lean back as far as you need. Walk down as far as you need to find out where your hamstrings are. They will let you know. Use your breath to converse with them. Hamstrings can get into a screaming match real fast. So stay in a nice breath, agreeable place. All right, and to walk out, walk your left foot forward. Again, if you're near a wall, maybe tuck your tail, tuck your chin to roll yourself up so you don't bunk your head. And let's take advantage of our surfaces for one more stretch, quad stretch. Stand with right hand, right foot, again, about a forearm's distance away from your surface. Left knee to chest so you can reach down for left ankle. And draw the left foot back to stretch out your quadriceps, the front of your thigh. I can give plenty of alternatives to this too if this is troublesome for knee. The nice thing about starting with the knee in front is you'll feel when your quadriceps are stretched. Your knee does not have to come all the way back to the right, and it might open out to the side a little bit more if that helps to balance your pelvis. If all that feels okay, then maybe your knees are together and your tail tucks down. Breathe into the back ribs. Breathe into the length of your quads. And exhale, carefully release. No slingshotting. Good. Turn around. Draw right knee to chest. So you can grab knee and then slide your hand down to right ankle and draw your foot back. And it's too much troublesome on knee, then maybe you turn towards your wall, come onto the toes of the foot, and feel for stretching the front of the leg that way, knee straight. Well, knee straight or bent works. Tucking tail is how you get into the top of the quads and hip flexors. One more breath. Feel for lengthening the back ribs off your sacrum. One more exhale for sending your sacrum straight down. And then carefully release. Dance on back to your yoga mat if you came off it. Let's come on down to our seats. Let's do hip opener Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet actively pressed together, toes flat apart. Lean over to your left to pick your right thigh up and use your hands to massage the right thigh out and set it down. And then the other side, tip over to your right, pick up left thigh, roll it out. And set it down. Hands either holding, hands on your ankles, Baddha Konasana A, pressing your feet together. Inhale into the back of the ribs, back of the spine, get as tall as you can. Exhale, ease your shoulders back, tuck your chin down. Keep your pubic bone pointing straight down as you feel for lifting low abdominals up off it. Getting real long through front and back of spine. Ujjayi breathing. And lift the chin a bit to relax all that pressure. Your choice of forward fold. Maybe you bring the feet forward for a more relaxed butterfly. Or you straighten your legs out for a straddle. If none of those feels relaxing, come onto your back and do a happy baby. Forward folds, reach back through your tailbone, hug your low abdominals in, and pull the rest of your spine up from there. Come on down to your back. We'll do our closing pranayama lying on our backs as we head towards relaxation. So if you want to set yourself up inverted, meaning legs up a wall, etc., or supported with bolsters, do that. And here, at least for the pranayama, yes, something underneath the head is a great idea. So you have that gentle throat lock, the chin tucked down, the back of the neck long. Viloma stage 2. Stage 1, I said, was slightly up regulating. So this stage will be slightly down regulating. The opposite of what we did before. Take a slow Ujjayi breath in through your nose. Connect to the whisper sound as it slows into your heart. Then hold the breath in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Little sips out. Breathe out and pause. Out and pause. Out and pause. Out and pause. Slow breath in. Suspend the breath. Soften around the suspension. Let it leak out in 4, 3, pause, 2, pause, 1. 4 more rounds like that. Ujjayi breath in. holding as long as comfortable, not too long, and let it out in 4 little pulses. You can still engage Mula Bandha whenever you're holding breath in or out. And when you're complete with the last round, let go of any effort whatsoever. If you want to continue to rest where you are, then stay. Otherwise, take a slow, full breath in. Sigh it out your mouth. Slowly bend a knee at a time to ease off to your side and crawl your way to sitting. May we benefit from our practice. May our practice benefit not only us, but may all beings everywhere know peace, be happy, healthy, and safe. Namaste.